Hey guys, King Kaiju here. This video is going to serve as a part 2 to the video I made the other day about the state of Mattel after 3 years. I'm happy to say the video was pretty successful. I thought it might get a lot of backlash from people who thought, Mattel was incredible, it's the best line, but thankfully there was quite a lot of people who agreed with me, so I'm very glad to hear that. After discussing it with a few people after the video came out, and just overall thinking about Mattel in general, I've decided to make a part 2 video because I feel like there's a few things in the video that I did not mention or that I did not know at the time. So this video is probably going to be called The State of Mattel After 3 Years Part 2. So let's get into the points that I have to say about the things I didn't mention in the first video.
Everybody's in the lake, and don't you know, it's a beautiful day.
First issue is with the Mattel Spinosauruses in general because of the fact that they have so many issues surrounding them. The Legacy Spinosaurus has some of the best detail I've ever seen, and the original images for the creature looked absolutely incredible. However, there's a few things that are wrong with it. Biggest issue is of course distribution because of the fact that people here in the US have never seen it. There's also the issue of the paint job that looks absolutely nothing like the original Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. Also, if you saw my last video, you probably know about the cheap quality plastic and all of the other problems I showed with mine. And these issues are not just with the Legacy Spinosaurus. Oh, no. They're with every single Spinosaurus that they've made. Cheap plastic, very hard to find, and none of them look accurate to the JP3 one. On a side note, because of the fact that they are so rare to find, there's a ton of scalper prices out there, which makes them incredibly hard to get, even when you find one. Like, for example, my Spinosaurus that I got, I had to pay $160 for it. Some might say it's my own fault for paying that much for a Spinosaurus, but you know what would help the problem entirely? Making them easier to find so they are not so overly expensive. This is an issue that I probably should have covered in the original video, but I will cover it here because of the fact that people talked about it after my original video, and I've also seen some things recently that have made me agree. The issue in question is that Echo the Velociraptor, one of the raptors in the Raptor squad, seems to never get an accurate paint job. Ever. Like, did any of the 4 images I just show look like this image? No? Well then congratulations, you're not blind and you're on the side of everyone else. The Dino Rivals one is probably your closest attempt, but that figure still is not the best. The green is way too prominent on it, it's in a crouching position and you can't move it to where it's just neutral, and it does not have the infamous Echo scar. The other offerings though, like the Camp Cretaceous Pouncing one, the Amber Collection Echo, and the new one for the Legacy Collection Raptor Squad pack do not look anything like Echo though. And yeah, I'm aware that this is supposed to be the Camp Cretaceous version, which is also incredibly inaccurate, but that still does not excuse Mattel from making a good Echo. They still need to do it. What's really funny though is the final nail in the coffin for me was watching the new episode of Jurassic World Beyond the Gates, which don't worry, we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, but they essentially said that these raptors were supposed to look accurate several times. I'm not going to show any clips from it because I have a feeling that these guys might abuse the copyright system and strike me down for showing their video, but if you really want to go and see, just go and check it out and see what I'm talking about. I just find it funny that they're calling these things accurate when in reality, well, they're not. Overall, the thing that Mattel should definitely do here is pretty plain and simple. Just redo Echo, give her a more accurate paint job with the scar on her face, and everything will be completely fine. Before I get into this category, I want to give a quick shout out to a person in the Paleo Media Discord server called Lemlem for sharing these images. They actually were the ones who pointed out to me how bad the Jurassic World Facts app is, so shout out to them. This point is pretty cut and dry. Originally, I thought that the Jurassic World Facts app was just nothing more than a boring app that really didn't have anything going for it, but it's actually worse than that. You see, the facts that they give you are terrible. There are so many images I could show for this point, but I'm just going to show a few. For the biggest first example, there are some facts in this app that are just not facts, they're just statements like this. Oh, Velociraptor is a carnivore? Well, you don't fucking say. These are, of course, technically facts, but these are the most mundane facts I have ever seen. It's like saying humans have hair. Sure, it's technically a fact, but it's also one of the most widely known facts in all of history. Every person on the planet knows that Velociraptor is a carnivore. It's general knowledge. They will also have blatant misinformation sometimes, like this one saying Baryonyx is not an aquatic dinosaur when that is completely untrue. It was. Then sometimes they'll have a mixture of those two things that I just mentioned. Mundane facts and misinformation, like this one saying Ceratosaurus has a nasal horn on its forehead. As you can clearly see though in the image and on the actual toy, the nasal horn is actually on the nose, not the forehead, and I don't know why they call it a horn-like appendage. It is a horn. There's no working around it. It is actually just a horn. That one is not as bad as the Baryonyx one, but just to show you guys more of the crap facts that they give you. Then sometimes they will just give you facts that are completely contradictory to some of the other facts they give you, like this one that says Velociraptor was not a pack animal, and then this one that says it is a pack animal. Sometimes they also contradict the film as well, which is not really as bad as the previous points, but it's still kinda shitty, like this one that says Dimorphodon can only fly short distances, when if you watch the film, that's completely bullshit. I'll just throw up a couple more images to prove my point further, but for some reason, this app just has the worst facts I've ever seen. It's supposed to be educational, but it's not even that. This next point against it really is not that bad, but I'm going to include it in anyway because it still is an issue. The graphics in this game are really bad looking. Just as an example, here's the Tapijara. Looks really bad, doesn't it? I request you all go and look for the worst facts you can find because there is so many of them. This is only the tip of the iceberg for how bad this app gets. The designs and the facts, these are only just a couple of them. To put it very bluntly, I think the app should just be deleted at this point. It's way beyond saving. It is really bad, worse than I originally thought, and it just does not get better at all. I really do not like Jurassic World Beyond the Gates, and it's for quite a few reasons. For one thing, when the trailer first dropped for it, it basically showed nothing but an animated Tyrannosaurus Rex at night, which hyped a lot of people up, including myself. And then the show dropped, and it turned out to just be a 3-minute long ad. And at first I was really disappointed because I was like, damn, that had some potential. I thought it could have been something really good, but over time I got over it and I pushed all of that to the side. But then I started thinking about it more. And then after thinking about it, I came up with what might seem like a pretty crazy idea, but honestly, I think the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense. Beyond the Gates is basically the Mount Everest of everything wrong with modern-day Jurassic collecting community. It's just a humongous sugar-coated ad that specifically focuses on the positive side of things when in reality, the products that they're pushing have some issues. To just emphasize this, let's look over the new set that they just showed off, being the Raptor Squad set, and several times in this again, they say it's accurate.
Are you sure about
Some
that?
might disagree with me here, but I think to just put on a fake smile and put a thumbs up for that corporate sponsorship to say something is accurate is just completely and utterly scummy. Matthew Brando said something incredibly similar in his original 1-year video, and he hit the nail right on the head. Essentially, the reason I do not like Beyond the Gates is because of the fact that it pushes a false narrative that all of these toys are good and nothing is really wrong with them, and it pushes this false narrative to fans, and they're doing it because of the fact that they're being bought out.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
So this was another thing brought to me by a person on Discord, and after thinking about it, I kind of agree with them. Amber Collection is starting to kind of get bad. It has a few issues, one of the first ones being the fact that we mainly just have raptors. Raptors are like the only dinosaur we get. I think we actually have only 3 species of dinosaur, that being Velociraptor, Dilophosaurus, and now Pteranodon. Another issue is the fact that all of the raptors have the exact same head sculpt. And really in any other situation this would not be that big of a deal, but because of the fact that the Velociraptors in the Jurassic Park series are very, very different, it is kind of an issue. And this is supposed to be a very, very high quality line. We're supposed to have like the top class products in this, but they're really not that top class. It's funny because with the humans, they knock it out of the ballpark. Those are usually really, really good, but for some reason the dinosaurs just aren't usually, specifically the Velociraptors, and I don't know why. Overall, here's my suggestion for this. Make one final Velociraptor that has a good head sculpt. It can be whatever choice you decide to make it on what Velociraptor it is, but just one final one. And add a couple more species into it. Sticky Moloch, Gallimimus, Troodon. These are all species that would be great in the Amber Collection line and would be very, very successful. This video and the last video that I put out were basically a gigantic message to Mattel about things that they have issues with and how they can change it, and I'm just going to quickly wrap up this video with some conclusionary suggestions. Alright, first up, thicker plastic. This is one that a lot of fans, myself included, have been calling for. Make the plastic thicker so it does not break. Maybe make a couple rubber dinosaurs as well. That would be kind of cool. I'm not asking for a full rubber line, of course, but adding rubber to things like your Tyrannosaurus Rex, for example, or a Spinosaurus would really, really help the plastic. Someone I talked to specifically wanted this next one, a Jurassic World Evolution or Park Building Simulator line. This would basically be a line where you can make your own Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, have certain buildings like restaurants, hotels, certain dinosaur enclosures, or maybe a helicopter pad, things like that. If you want to go the Jurassic World Evolution route, some dinosaurs you could add like Maiasaura, maybe a Pentaceratops, those would all be really, really good dinosaurs that you could put in. Mattel has started cracking down on human figures and vehicles, so I won't really bring that up. A lot of fans really wanted that, and you've started kind of delivering on it, Mattel, so I will applaud you for that. What we have not seen yet, though, is an actual playset, something that has a building in it, something that has something that you can actually play on, aka visitor center or command compound, wink wink. Or you could just take something that I put in this video or the last one and turn that into something that you can better with in your line. A lot of fans would like that, please. The new Mosasaurus looks absolutely incredible. I really, really, really like it, and I'm very, very glad that they're not only making it, but also helping the environment with it, as it's made out of plastic put into the ocean. It feels like they're trying with the line, but it also feels like they really are taking it for granted and that they really do not care that much about it and like it's a second priority for them. I hope Mattel sees either this or the previous video, because I think they both have some good points that Mattel should listen to and better themselves with. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.